Today, the Porsche GT3 Cup USA by Yokohama Championship heads out west to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for rounds 13 and 14. This season, we have only seen 3 drivers take the top step of the podium. Canadian Jesse Lazare has won 5 rounds, Californian Elliott Skier has claimed 4, and Venezuelan Angel Benitez Jr. has won 3. Series veteran Benitez, sitting 3rd in the points, joined the championship late but won both rounds upon his return. Lazare may have won the most rounds, but sits only 2nd in the points. And while Skier may have won fewer races than Lazare, he leads the championship points battle. Will Skier continue to add points to his championship run, or will Benitez and Lazare take the overall wins? We'll find out next in the Texas Heat. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Austin, Texas, and Circuit of the Americas, home of the U.S. Grand Prix for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Jeremy Shaw, and we've got a good one coming for you into the final 4 rounds of the championship. And as I mentioned, this is a glorious facility, but today it is toasty. Temperature says 88, feels more like 98 with the humidity. It is thick. And as always here, you've got a couple of different classes running. You've got the Platinum cars and the Gold Cup cars. The difference? Well, there's performance, but how do you tell them apart? The Platinum cars have the black number panels, the black side mirrors, the black windshield banners, and the black end plates on the wings. The Gold class cars, as you might expect, have gold number panels, end plates, the side panels on the mirrors, and of course the windshield banner. And it's a difference in performance. It is slight but significant. And as always, a doubleheader weekend. Highlights from the first round, round 13. Angel Benitez, who has been a monster on the starts this year. Look at that move up to the inside as the 26 of Lucas Catania got crossed up right in the middle of traffic. Couple laps later, Elliott Skier from 3rd taps Lazare in 2nd. However, a caution had come out and Lazare had lifted and caught Skier by surprise. No harm, no foul. Skier then was able to continue his pursuit of Benitez in the gold category. As we've seen so many times this year, Jeff Mosing in the 0-1 under attack from the 6 of David Ducote. Some of his compatriots a little bit further back. Wayne Ducote got a little tap from Dora Japonik. However, everybody able to avoid them there in turn 15. And here was a big moment in the Gold Cup battle down to the inside. There you see Ducote into the side of Mosing. They both spin and continue. Mosing able to get going. Nobody, however, able to top Angel Benitez as he came through for a 4th win. That tied Elliott Skier's total, and for Mosing, he held on in front of Ducote, brings it home. There you see the win, but more importantly for Jeff, that clinched the Gold Cup and Gold Masters Championships at home. He is from Austin, and he did a bit of celebrating. Understandable. And that leads us right into our points. You take a look at those points now in the Gold Cup category. 60 left with this round, and then the 2 coming up at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. An untouchable lead for Mosing, 73 over 2nd place Yano, and Joe Catania sitting in that 3rd spot. And when you take a look now at the Platinum class points, a bit closer, but with Lazare having that finish back in the order after that tap from Skier, which they said again was a racing incident due to Lazare lifting for the caution. That's gone from now 19 to 27 points. Lazare doing what he needs to do, but the 14th round is coming up. Don't go away. The Gladiators will be back at it here in Austin. Welcome back to Austin as we are set for this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And there's a look at that front row. But I think, Jeremy, the guy to watch is the guy in 3rd.
And Angel Benitez Jr., he's been fast all weekend, and he, of course, won the race yesterday. So he's on a 2-race win streak right now, so he's pretty much out of the championship reckoning, but certainly Elliott Skier has control of the points. He's got a 27-point lead coming into this race, so all he really needs to do to clinch the championship is have a good solid finish here, 2 more solid finishes at Road Atlanta at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and the championship will be his.
And the old coulda, woulda, shoulda complex, here you go. Angel Benitez only making 10 starts this year compared to everybody else, 8 top 2s.
Yeah,
I mean, there you go, 4 wins. Yeah. That's the tale. But he knows what he needs to do now, and that's just go for wins. And that's liberating sometimes, and we're expecting something quite special here as the field making its way now side by side through that very, very intricate triple apex falling off-camber right-hander complex called 16, 17, 18 into the very tricky turn 19, and then up into that final turn, and looking forward to a green flag there. That bright yellow car with the 0-1 you just saw, that is Jeff Mosing, pole sitter in gold and gold masters and newly crowned champion.
Turn 19 was pretty tricky, but now for this weekend,
Good
no
point.
track limits there, so you can run wide there, which you weren't allowed to do in the past. Forming up for the start.
Yeah, just in case people were watching about that. Here we go. Watch for the green. Looks like it may have been Lazar who timed it well. Skier right up on his shoulder as they're heading up into turn 1. Now Skier, an aggressive move to the inside, and Lazar sort of fakes way over there. That's kind of in pit lane, and that defense once again, Angel Benitez has been absolute magic, Jeremy, on the starts. Does he do it again? He's got that inside line. He's through. Benitez third to first.
Absolutely superb move from Angel Benitez Jr. Yesterday he lunged up the inside, dived through, and yeah, basically paint flying as he did so. This time around the outside, he saw those two crowding each other to the inside. He said, okay, if I go to the outside I can get a much better arc around the corner, carry more speed around the top of the hill there, and that's exactly what he did. And the 05 car of JDX Racing, Angel Benitez Jr. comes out with the lead of this race.
Talk about reading what's unfolding in front of you and then pouncing on the opportunity. A brilliant job, no question. It is still the Kelly Moss entry, though, of the young Quebecois, Jesse Lazar, sitting in that second spot, the Garaga entry for Kelly Moss, and then the 14 of Skier, the Pelican machine that he runs for Wright Motorsports right there. Now, folks, if you were watching the race, the 13th round of the championship, you saw Skier get into Lazar coming through that turn 18, spun him. The reason that there was no penalty is they looked at all of the data they had, and they said right before that happened, the yellow flag, full course caution, came out, and Lazar had said, Lazar said, I'd lifted when I saw that. Skier had nowhere to go. They said, all right, that was just a racing incident, no harm and no foul. This, however, is a more significant incident involving, I know that's Oscar Arroyo.
And Bill Pellichinski, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Well, Bill, you could always tell with that World War II fighter plane paint job on the car. He's turned around, and okay, now he does have some fuel. But the number 20 having a big moment out on the track right now. Fred Portad, who in the past few years has been a very frequent runner in this championship. This is his first weekend. Boy, in another car, the number 22, struggling as well right now.
Yeah. Big damage to the front of that car. Looks like the radiator's been busted on number 22 car as well. So, boy, we're going to be down a few cars at the end of this lap. They come across now in front of us to complete the first lap. And Angel Benitez leads, but not by very much, over Jesse Lazar right there in second place, as we can see Mark Yano just spewing fluid out of the front of that car. Yeah. Look at that. But turn 1, Jesse Lazar has taken the lead from Angel Benitez, and now they're side by side down the hill, and again it's Benitez that gets it back going down the hill and into turn 2.
Well, and that's that scenario. That's such an inviting run right to the apex up in turn 1, but you have to pinch the exit as a result. And Benitez again just said, go ahead, I'll just stay out a little bit, square up, pick the throttle up a little bit sooner, and drive through. And that's what a couple of these corners on this track really promote, is if you get somebody who just sort of takes the bait, they're going to end up a little slow out of the turn. But Jesse Lazar, I mean, the only chance Jesse has for any shot of a championship here, being 27 points back with 60 remaining, is he's got to take some risk and try and move up and get wins, because there's not a big change, is there, from first to second, second to third? It's 2-point swings.
That's right.
But boy, out of 11, Jeremy, Lazar got a huge run. He is tucked right in behind now Benitez. Benitez going right down the middle of the track, maybe even moving off to the left a little bit. Still, Lazar just had that run. Now Skier is going to come up the inside of Lazar and see if he can make a move here. And he realizes, no, we're deep on the, well, because we're full course caution. And that came out again. Boy, that would have been interesting if those two would have had another tink because of a caution. But because I think of the carnage that we've seen, a couple of different cars, damage, fluid on the track and the like. And I think it's primarily for Fred Portad right there, who's got radiator damage, but also that right front corner is broken, and he's going nowhere, and that isn't a good spot.
Yeah, and
Here's a look at what may happen.
Yeah, no, that's afterwards, because some of the
yeah.
contact's already happened. You can see the damage, well, not the damage, but the fluid spewing out of the front of the Circuit Racing NGT Motorsports entry of Mark Yano in the Gold Cup. And clearly the radiator broken on that car, so that car's not going to go very far at all.
Well, and that's the exact reason that we're now under caution. We've got, obviously, Poor Dad in an impact zone. You've got fluid down on the track. So we are under a full course caution here in the early going of this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. But when we come back, we're going green. Stay with us. Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas, as this beautiful field of Porsche is about ready to go back to green, and a phenomenal job by the EV crews here. Great cleanup job. The green flag is out, and we are back at it here in round 14 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. What a great look. All those beautiful Porsches climbing the hill, 133 feet elevation change up to the apex where it flattens out. Tricky corner, then down. Hard right through, well, not a hard right, a fast right through turn 2, then leading into a very, very tricky and precise section of the track, the S's, and you can see them right there. If you get offline in the first S's, you either have to slow noticeably, and that's going to cost you, or you're just going to be offline all the way through it, and that is going to be a pretty slow way to go as well. But I'll tell you, Angel, when he gets these starts, you know, that first lap, he just finds speed immediately, and he opens up that little bit of a gap, which means they can't attack him right away.
That's exactly right. That's exactly his plan coming into this race in that Hertz car of JDX Racing. He wants to establish himself as the leader and make sure that nobody gets close enough to him to challenge him later on. He's been super fast. Didn't have a good qualifying run, Angel, this time, surprisingly. But he qualified in the 3rd position. But he's, as he did yesterday, made his move to the front very, very early on. And the other two regular contenders up front, Jesse Lazare and Elliott Skier in 2nd and 3rd. Look at Michael Shine, though. He's hanging on tough with those guys in 4th place.
Yeah, the New Yorker has really hit a bit of a stride this year. 3 podiums he's been able to put together this season. His best finish was 2nd at the round 12 at VIR, which was the most recent round prior to coming in here. And he's been very, very strong, and he had a 3rd yesterday.
Indeed so, and he does have one win in this series. He's been racing here also since 2010, but hasn't done all the races. He did have one win at Mid-Ohio in 2010. It's been 47 races since that victory. So Mike Shiney's been running strongly this weekend. I think he's going to need some problems perhaps for those guys in front of him if he's going to get another win, but certainly another strong run for the New Yorker.
As they come around and complete another lap down into turn 20, feed the throttle again. No track limits now here this weekend are going to be recognized. You can't shortcut apexes, but you can pretty much run as wide out as you want. That's the ruling that has been put into place. And so all the drivers have to abide by it, whether they really agree with it or not. That's, if it's quicker, you got to do it. That's just the name of the game. In the gold category, Jeff Mosing, your new champion in the 01 Mosing Motorcars entry, sits in the 11th spot overall right now, leading 2 spots back overall. Is the 2nd place in gold, and the guy that generally they end up in some great scraps, that is the number 6 of David Ducote. And those two guys, when they get close to each other, it's certainly fun, and sometimes there's even a little light show called fireworks.
Yeah, well, they had a great battle yesterday. They actually came together on the final lap. David Ducote trying to make a pass on Jeff Mosing. Both of those two from Texas. Jeff Mosing from right here in Austin. David Ducote from Houston. And it was a tremendous battle yesterday. But once again, it's Jeff Mosing who's got himself out into the lead. Yesterday, David Ducote really came back strongly in the latter stages.
Yeah, and I talked to Jeff, and we'd speculated, because he spent the good first half of the race, Jeremy, not running wide over the curves and trying to observe track limits that are out there, and Ducote didn't. And Jeff, I was watching him, and I could see that car pinching, a little tighter lines to the corners as a result. And he said, yeah, I did overcook the tires trying to do that. He goes, I finally had to just, if I wanted to win that thing, I had to start doing what they were doing. and he's one of the guys that said, I don't like that. There's a reason for that, that track limit. It's safety, and we should be staying on the track and having that room as true runoff over there. But you do what you have to do, and he did a great job, brought home a championship. Welcome back to Austin, round 14 of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And Jeremy, right now, these three leaders are really running pretty much in lockstep. You can see Mike Shine back there in fourth just has not been able to match the speed of these top three. And even though Benitez has been able to hang on to that lead, Skier certainly, but Lazar especially, awfully quick.
It is Jesse Lazar who has set the best lap of this race so far. 1:13.877, fractionally quicker than the race leader, Angel Benitez.
Yeah, the top three are covered by about a tenth in terms of their fast laps right now. A 2:13.877 for Lazar, a 2:13.94 for Benitez, and a 2:13.95 for Skier. Next up is there's a 2:14.4 on the table from Mike Shine. So that just tells you right now the pace that those guys are running. And as we drop back and take a look at what's going on in the gold category, good run going on for Jeff Mosing there in that first car on your screen, that bright yellow liveried machine. And I think everybody, we're watching a little bit there, that number 19 of Hardeman, because he's also an Austin boy in that wholesale parts direct car from More Speed. Yeah. But there goes Jeff Mosing again, and the car right behind him, yep, Ducati.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened to Will Hardeman on that lap. He's slipped back quite a long way. He's now down into the 12th position. He was 8th at the end of the previous lap, so must have had it off somewhere on that lap. It cost himself 6 or 7 seconds, and he's now going to do that work all over again. He came in here with really high expectations, Will Hardeman, a rookie this year in a championship. His first ever race in anything was just last year. He's made really, really good progress. He had the best finish of his short career so far, 4th last time out of VR. This is his home track, done a lot of testing here. It hasn't really come together for him this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the More Speed shops are very, very close here, and just hasn't worked. And just noticing, Jeremy, you look at the left side in between the wheels of that number 6 right there from Kelly Moss. There's a big wrinkle in that car right now. You can see there has been some contact, but it certainly doesn't seem to have affected the speed of David Ducati in that Kelly Moss entry.
It doesn't at all, does it? You're absolutely right there.
And by the way, just a nice shout out to Kelly Moss. Obviously, last year they took Colin Thompson to the championship in this category, and now they've got obviously David Ducati, a very strong runner, Jesse Lazar, second in the championship, and prior to VIR, he was well placed in that championship battle, just a couple of points off of Elliott Skier. It had been a great battle, and this year that team also with a new class that was created in the World Challenge category called the GT Cup. They moved over there with Colin Thompson, and Colin dominated that series as well. So just a great year for Kelly Moss here already. And now Hardeman, he's settled down just a little bit, Jeremy, and he's trying to get back around Ducati. And again, that's not a class battle, it's just an overall battle as Hardeman runs in the platinum category and Ducati runs in the gold class.
That's exactly right. Here's his battle there, coming up the hill there to turn 1. It's still Benitez who leads. He'd set the fastest lap of the race on the last go around, 2 minutes 13.801. So about a half a second slower, but again, fractionally quicker than Jesse Lazar, but there's nothing to choose between them. Just about a half a second between the two cars out front, which equates to about 5 or 6 car lengths, and then an equidistant back in 3rd place on championship leader Elliott Skier.
Well, Jeremy, I think one of the things that makes this night race so compelling, and I think this year, big spin there. That's the number 6 of Ducati, and we had seen Hardeman was coming up hard astern, and here we go. Let's see what happens here. Well, Hardeman was pretty established there. Yeah. When the nose of your car is up by the front wheels of the other car, I think at best we'll call that a racing incident. I don't know what the officials will do, but that's what we're going to throw it out as, and I'm sure they're discussing it right now. But what I was going to say was, this is a track that seems quite susceptible to temperature change, to various elements. It's been hotter here by far than we experienced last year at this weekend. Of course, last year we also had some rain and the like, but the other scenario is, as the sun sets, you bleed a lot of heat out
out of the air, certainly, but the track seems to hang on to things, whether it's moisture or temperature.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how these guys adjust as that track slowly cools.
Jeff Mosing, a comfortable lead in the gold class here at Circuit of the Americas in this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. It's what he's done all year long. Already a champion as he clinched in that 13th round yesterday. And he's got a big lead today. Now, Benitez, speaking of leads, has stretched his finally to about over a second, a little breathing room. And, of course, it all started with another great start, Jeremy.
By the way, we talked about that great start, didn't we, by Max Tolman, who got his way through all the carnage at the beginning. He's now dropping back down the order, back into the clutches of Jim Walker. It's Max Tolman and Steve Tolman, his father, and they run that team together along with Jim Walker. That's why it's called Tolman Walker Racing, or Walker Tolman.
Tolman Walker.
Tolman Walker, exactly. And Steve is not racing this weekend. He was here earlier in the weekend, but had some business commitments he had to go to. So Jim Walker also races in PCA competition, Porsche Club of America events, and he is making his debut in the championship this weekend. And doing very nicely too, keeping his nose clean.
And by the way, just you can see it, folks, that last lap, Benitez half-second quicker than Lazar and Skier, and that's given him a buffer of just over a second. It's the biggest lead we have seen in this one by far here, as we are just about coming up to the halfway point here. Again, a 45-minute race coming up on 22 minutes here momentarily. Ooh, big move here. Lunge down to the inside by the number 40 of Putman, and he realized that Ducati was going to turn in. He wasn't quite there, and Putman backed out of it. So we've got a good battle here again with Pelichowski, Putman, and Ducati. And as a matter of fact, Ducati has already gone by Putman. He had caught him earlier in the lap and was running in the 15th spot with Putman in the 14th. Well, he's gone around Putman already and is attacking now on, I think that's Pelichowski.
I think so, and Charlie Putman, he's already been busy today. He ran the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge event earlier this afternoon with his good buddy Charles Espinal. They finished 5th there with a great last lap pass by Espinal. So he's had a busy day already. He's got a pretty good workout, and here he is now driving his number 40 Porsche and running in the 14th place overall.
And that's really a wonderful graphic scheme on that car, because it looks like that American flag on the side, like the bodywork actually folds back to those rear tires. It doesn't. It's just some great graphics. It's really fun to see. Cool, look at it right there. That's pretty neat. That's sidewalk artist stuff.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Exactly right. On the side of a race car, it's very, very cool. You can see a good view of it there, and it's very, very sharp. When you see it up close, you think, well, or from sort of 10, 20 yards away, you think, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Got a radiator in front of the rear wheel.
Graphic art being displayed at its best on the race cars. He's running for a top 5 in Platinum Masters. Angel Benitez leads overall, but the battle is on in that second spot for our championship protagonist, Lazar over Skier. We'll be back. Welcome back. There's your lead trio here at Circuit of the Americas in this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And obviously, we're seeing a great run here from Angel Benitez, but the interest is really that battle for second, and Skier doing what he needs to do with now that 27-point lead over that white machine Lazar. Skier can just finish behind him in every race and get the championship. But Elliott said before the race, his thought, he wanted to race aggressively without risk. He said, if there's an opening and it looks low risk, I'm going to go for it. But if I see any risk at all, I've got to be gentle. And for everybody else in this field, Jeremy, they're just watching this, because these three, as they have all year, just seem to be on a different level.
Yeah, and you're right. Michael Shiner is still running in 4th place, but unable to keep the same sort of pace as the leaders, losing on average maybe 4, 5, 6 tenths of a second per lap, and that gap from 3rd to 4th now back out over 5 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you, Benitez has just been uber impressive, hasn't he, since he rejoined the championship. And I mean, he did it at a place that was one that he had a rough go at last year when he got passed in the 2 races at Watkins Glen. Both of them he got passed from the lead on the last lap. And when he came back there this year, after not having run these cars for the whole year, showed up and promptly won them both over drivers the caliber of Lazar and Skier. And it was like, all right, I've taken care of that. My confidence is where it needs to be. Let's go after this. And it doesn't hurt that he has a guy named Jeremy Dale, who's driven about everything at the top level you can imagine. And of course, Harrison Bricks, who he and his dad ran one of the top operations. It's a good program.
Yeah, including a car for Jeremy Dale, of course.
Yeah.
It was one of Harry Bricks' car, isn't it, that Jeremy was badly hurt in at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
Had a nasty crash there and badly injured both of his legs, but made a really good comeback and still he's been involved in Champ Car teams, in IMSA teams, and now in the GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama.
I think they just really like this category and are doing a very, very good job. And what, they had a couple of good drivers, obviously, but I think they've really found the perfect fit with Angel Benitez.
Yeah, they asked him to join the team right at the beginning of the season, and at that stage, Angel already had a commitment to drive a Lamborghini in the Blancpain Super Trofeo, and he said he declined the opportunity to join JDX Racing because he didn't want to detract from the other drive. But after a couple of rounds, Jeremy Dale asked him again because the driver they had early on, David Estella, didn't want to continue on through the season or wasn't able to or whatever. And this time around, Angel said, yeah, I'd love to. And grasped the opportunity, came out at Watkins Glen. What did he do? Won twice.
And might just be on his way to a 5th win today at Circuit of the Americas. Welcome back as Benitez continues to lead here at Circuit of the Americas as we are racing into the darkness. And believe me, folks, it's darker than these TV camera irises let you know. Jeremy, the surprise to me is we thought as it cooled, the track might get a little quicker, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Fastest lap of the race was set quite a while ago now, back on lap 6 by Angel Benitez Jr. 2 minutes 13.801. The only other guys to lap underneath 2 minutes 14 are the two guys who are a couple of seconds behind him, Jesse Lazare and Elliott Skier.
I think we've got a really good battle, though, there's Mike Shine now as he comes through. And just trying to take a look here behind him. Yeah, I think Casey Coleman and Andrew Long, battling for the 5th spot, are having a really stout battle for that final spot in the top 5 right now. Casey Coleman in that 15 Cool Sport entry, Andrew Long in the blue Trianon Hotels entry, and here they come. This is that battle up the hill as they're getting run down as well by Lucas Catania, who just turned a lap quicker than either of them. Right. This could become a good 3-car battle in short order. Whoa, nice rotation by Andrew Long. I
think both of those cost themselves a little bit of time on that last lap, and that has allowed Lucas Catania to close in on that pair. That's the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, Lucas, a recent graduate this spring with a biomed degree from an upstate New York university, and that's just sort of, I think he was clicking. I mean, he was a smart man, focusing on his studies a little bit, but I think now that he got that completed, we've just seen a little uptick in his racing form, and I think it's just full-on commitment, and we're seeing that this kid's got some serious skill.
Yeah, and getting used to the Porsche as well. It's a big step up. He was riding the MX-5 Cup Challenge last year, so quite a step from that. But is just getting better and better, able to use the advantage of all the experience the NGT Motorsports team has.
And for Andrew Long in that 47 Trianon Hotels machine, kind of an interesting story for him. This is his first full season of what, and in parentheses, professional racing. This is considered really a semi-pro series, but it's one of the most competitive on the planet. And a lot of drivers now that want pro careers come here and prove themselves just a little bit. And he has shown up. But he is a SEC national champion, having won a couple of what they call gold medals at the runoffs. One of them in a Porsche in the T2 category last year. And so this was a relatively comfortable step for him when he got hooked up with Fall Line Motorsports, which is a tremendously well-established team. We see him running a lot of not just club racing, but certainly the Continental Tire Series. And Andrew has really transitioned very well, I think.
Yes, he has. And again, he's just getting better and better as the season progresses here. Jesse Lazare has put his head down now, and just he's eked out a couple more car lengths over that battle, in his battle with Elliott Skier for second place. And actually, last lap around it was quite a bit quicker than our race leader, well, 2 or 3 tenths of a second quicker. There's Paul Ip having a quick spin. I think that's the second spin he's had actually in this race.
Interesting story for Paul, coming from China, and really the driving force behind an endurance racing. I think it's a P2 team, isn't it? KCMG, and one of the best that's been running in the World Endurance Championship this year. And it's great to have him climb behind the wheel of one of these Porsches and come and join us in this series. Again, one that is immensely well supported by Porsche Motorsport North America. They conceived of this class and this series a number of years ago, and it was very strong. And then another big moment came when Yokohama decided to not just become a presenting sponsor, but the official tire supplier. And I'm a big fan because they have a tire called the ENVR2, which is really revolutionary in how environmentally friendly it is. It uses literally orange oil pressed from orange peels. And these engineers somehow figured out you blend that into the compound, you can use a lot more naturally occurring rubber, as we see a problem for Jim Walker in that 69. And what that does, naturally occurring rubber is much more easily recyclable than petroleum-based rubber, and it's made a huge difference. And the work that Yokohama's done in this series, Jeremy, from the first year they did it, they have a street tire, and that's of course the reason any tire manufacturer is in a sport like this, to learn a little bit and apply it to that. They've been able to use what they've learned here to vastly increase the percentage of that naturally occurring rubber in their street tires.
Indeed so, and
it's impressive.
There's a look at number 69 car, Jim Walker, just pulling that car off the side of the racetrack. I would have thought he could have found a better place to park it, quite frankly, but unfortunately he hasn't.
And it's full course.
And brought out the full course caution.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think you're right. I think that car seemed to be movable, and he may have been able to find a little bit better spot, but nonetheless, we're under caution. Exactly the wrong thing for Benitez, who'd worked hard to open up that 2.5 plus margin. But for Elliott Skier and Jesse Lazar, well, opportunity perhaps to go for a win. Lazar needs points. Skier needs to keep him in sight. The finish coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back as we head to the restart. Benitez, he overslows a little bit. Skier gets tapped by Shine. Coleman has to go evasive. I think the stewards will be okay with that, as it was an avoidance maneuver. Here we go, up to the start stand. We're green.
As we are into our final 7 minutes of this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And again, Jesse Lazar. Now watch, Elliott Skier, he may have gone to school here. Well, I think he did, but I think Lazar actually did just enough to put the car in the right spot and be able to drive away. Now, here comes that battle as Catania is right on the back end of Casey Coleman here. And now he's back on the back end of Andrew Long. I think at the stripe, Long had shifted a little bit. Yeah.
He jumped up there at turn 1. He's made up several positions by the looks of it. And I think Elliott Skier was just being smart up there.
I think so too.
Staying a nice wide line, making sure he wasn't involved in any other instance that might have occurred up at the top of the hill in turn 1. And he's still come away in 3rd place and looking strong.
And once again, after a long caution period, what happens? The tires cool, the pressures drop a little bit, and on those slightly cooler under pressure tires, Angel Benitez immediately finds a gap of 5, 6, 7 tenths. He just finds speed right off the bat. To me, that's always been a great indicator that somebody's got the gift a little bit, and he certainly seems to here. Boy, look at this, Andrew Long. You're right. He's taking advantage of it here, trying to get around Casey Coleman. Yeah. Couldn't quite get it done. So, yeah, he's cleared Catania now, Long has.
I thought he made, he made up ground. He actually lost the position to Catania as he came across the line, but I think made it up again at top of the hill. That's what happened there. So, a bit of back and forth going there amongst the number 26 car and number 47 of Andrew Long.
And Santiago Creel in that Mexico liveried Unifin Easy Corp. There it is, a car. He gets a little bit of life breathed back into a potential run here, maybe to a top 5, sitting in 8th right now. But everybody covered by that proverbial blanket after the caution at this stage, as we are coming up on 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining. And with the pace that they're running here, Jeremy, maybe 3 laps, certainly 2.
Yeah, probably 3, I think. Yep. I don't think.
Well, Benitez, if he comes by here, we're at 4 as he hits the line at 4:56. Yeah, I think we could get 2 more laps now. Well, 3 actually.
Three,
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. But he has done it again. He's opened that margin up right off the drop on that first lap to over 1.5 seconds. Then Lazar, then Skier. But this time now, Mike Shine and Casey Coleman much, much closer. And boy, look at this. That was the double zero of Jay Patel. And I think for a minute there, Mosing, who is now kind of caught up in that battle, and Will Hardiman had gone by him. And I think it slowed Mosing up just a little bit. And Patel took a look at him. And the problem is that for right now, let's see. Well, Ducote now has been able to get just down to Patel and Dora-Japanek between himself and Mosing, as Pelichowski has slipped back about 5 spots in that restart lap.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? You're exactly right. But whoa, it's running wide there. I guess just kicking up the dust there. A lot of dust, wasn't it? But it really was accentuated there by the headlights and the fact that the setting sun, or the set sun, was directly behind him.
There's the number 6 of Ducote, and once again, his problem, whoa, big wobble right there. And I think he was looking in the mirrors because I think he thought Charlie Putman was going to maybe have a lunge. Putman did back out of it a little bit, but I think it got, again, Ducote turning in just a little soon, and then he pushed a bit wide.
Yeah, and these cars running over the exit curbings there and then across a little bit of grass. It's really digging up little ruts.
It is.
There at the side of the racetrack. It's going to be tricky tomorrow for somebody when the other categories race. The Tuesday Night Sports Car Championship will take place tomorrow, so around about lunchtime, and then in the evening we'll have the World Endurance Championship, 6 hours, a Lone Star Le Mans. A lot of racing to come tomorrow.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. You know, with these cars and everything else that's been running today now, as you said, just digging up these little ruts and grooves in the track. And as I've said, also noticing this track, I've pretty much been here for most of the races that have been held here. This is the track that, you know, there are some bumps that are starting to form just a little bit as well. So it just gives the track character, really.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun there too as we continue to watch here. There is Mosing, and close to the back of the 56 of David Baker. Baker right now, when you take a look at the overall order, David is running in the top 10, and he's been always this whole race. He's been either side of 10th.
Yes.
He's been staying right in it there, and now he's got an awfully good driver in Jeff Mosing behind him, just in a different type of car.
That's right. Boy, how Angel Benitez really pulled away at that restart. 1 minute 14.26 last time around, and he pulled away about 3/4 of a second over Jesse Lazare on that lap. And Elliott Scoop says, "Wild Bill take another revolution."
Yeah, he's got that fighter plane livery. He's just doing barrel rolls,
and
that kind of thing.
At least he's keeping all 4 wheels on the ground.
Well, this is true, isn't it? That is a great looking car, no question about it. Some really
particularly
creative.
in this light too.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal, isn't it? Well, he may have a problem here, as I think he just cut that whole corner sequence there. We'll see what happens at this point. Meanwhile, we go back and you know you're night racing when all you see is headlights just a little bit. And believe me, folks, camera lenses with the iris in it for these TV, they can open up and let in an immense amount more light than the human eye can. It's dark out here right now, and but for Elliott Skier, it's brightening up, isn't it? He is finding some serious speed here in what should be this lap and one more.
Yeah, we will get the white flag this time around. Just one more lap of this 3.4-mile circuit for Angel Benitez Jr. to bring home the victory and yet another win for JDX Racing.
Yeah, this is where for Elliott, I think he's definitely got the quicker car here, but the last thing he wants to do is try and make a move and have Lazar close the door, have there be some contact, and end up broken and lose those points. But when Lazar runs a little bit wide like that, if Skier can, he's certainly going to try and pounce on it. Couldn't quite get it done there. And we should see the white flag flying. There it is. Our final lap is underway here at Circuit of the Americas. And ooh, big move here. Skier, oh, he's looking for Lazar to take the bait. Can he turn underneath Jeremy and pick? No, again, Lazar exited right where Skier wanted to go.
I think you're right. I think Jesse Lazare is trying to entice Elliott Skier to make some sort of a move and perhaps make a mistake. And that's about the only way that Jesse Lazar's going to have any hope of winning this championship this year, if Elliott throws it off the road. But I'm sure Elliott's smarter than that. He really is a smart young man, actually, and he won't be, I'm sure, drawn into any errors like that.
Boy, and Andrew Long, just in the background there, you can see this is such a good battle for second, but that battle for fifth, equally strong right now, is he is attacking on Casey Coleman as well now for that fifth spot. But here we go, Skier. I think that's just trying to rattle Lazar, get those lights flashing in those mirrors. As I said, it's dark here. And if you can do that, just get that guy to just miss that braking point of that turn in by a tick of a second. Suddenly he's wide, he's slow, and you might have the run. That time Lazar, the young Quebecois, no, didn't take the bait at all.
Down the straight for the last time, the 19th lap for these contenders. Time has expired, 50 minutes is up. This will be the final lap, and there come those two championship contenders. We can still call Jesse Lazar a championship contender because it isn't wrapped up yet for Elliott Skier, but it's certainly looking better and better every race that these two completed. Looks at the inside. Yep. They come through that complex. Is he going to think about diving down the inside? No, he's not. Yeah,
I think he was going to try and give the indication he was, but had no plans on actually doing that. And you're right, Jeremy. Jesse Lazar himself would tell you one no points finish for whatever reason by Elliott Skier. Because that happened to Jesse. If it happens to Elliott, he's right back in this championship. And so he's doing everything he can right now. The problem is, a good now, almost 3 seconds clear, is Angel Benitez. Benitez now swinging for the last time out of the final corner. Benitez looking at his fifth win of the season. And let's see behind him what happens. There it is. The flag flies. Angel Benitez and the JDX Hertz entry brings it home. And Elliott Skier hounding Lazar all the way to the line. Didn't make the pass, and it was because he was being, in the big picture, smart. No question about it. Here, across the line comes Jeff Mosing, and that 01 Mosing Motorcars top racing entry. He clinched the championship in gold and gold masters yesterday, but he adds yet another win to what has already been an absolutely stunning season. Hey, it's Austin. I'm done. I'm going to burn these Yokohamas right down and celebrate just a little bit. And why not? Win 7 on the year in the gold category in gold masters. More impressive still. Phenomenal run. And I think we need to point out here as well, Jeremy, that Casey Coleman with that 5th place finish overall, but a win in the Platinum Masters category, has now easily clinched another. I mean, he's just stringing them together here in Platinum Masters, a championship for Casey Coleman.
Yeah, a tremendous effort, and also for Angel Benitez Jr., another weekend sweep here. That's exactly what he did at Watkins Glen back in June.
And interestingly, a number of drivers have swept a weekend. When we come back to Circuit of the Americas, we'll take a look at the final results and hear from our class winners. Stay with us, everybody. Dusk is well and truly upon us here as we complete this 14th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And what a race it was for Angel Benitez. A series lead tying 5th win, tying it with Jesse Lazar for most wins, and a challenging weekend.
It's been a long weekend, man, but it's been awesome, honestly. With the Lamborghini and doing double duty with the Lamborghini and the Porsche, it's been tough on my body. And I mean, it's not easy when you have to just do a lot of testing, races, the stress, and all what is involved in a race, in a series. But I mean, we won both races in Porsche, both of them making a path with passing 2 cars on turn 1. And just checking out. So, I mean, JDX did an excellent job with the set of the car. I had what I needed to, and I just showed what the team and the tires on Porsche is capable of. So we're more than happy. We really appreciate to be here. And thank you to everybody that is actually supporting me. So thanks Hertz, thanks Yokohama, thanks IMSA, and JDX. Thanks.
Well, and Angel has said after missing those opening rounds, his mission is just to show what JDX and Angel, are all about, especially as a pairing. There's your results. Benitez, Lazar, Skier, that championship battle. Lazar taking a couple points back. Not enough, though, at this stage. Mosing with the win, but notice there in 3rd in gold, 17th overall, the 23 of Fred Keimer. He's another Austin resident, so 2 Austinites in that top 3 in the gold podium. It's great. And for Jeff Mosing, I think a little bit of experience may have helped him out today. Let's listen.
Of course, everything I've learned at this track, first turn, first lap, is really critical. The traffic gets kind of bunched up on the inside, getting greedy. The COTA actually got a better start than me, was ahead of me going into 1, tried to get inside, and everybody was stacked up. I went out wide, went around the outside and got back into the front position, and then held it from there. Just put my head down. I had Eric Foss watching the gap for me. And hats off to the Yokohama tires, man. They were so consistent. I thought something was wrong with my dash. I kept seeing 217.7, and that just shows, you know, how consistent these tires can be if you just put your head down. And I just really love this series. You know, thanks to Porsche for sure, putting on a great series. Todd Opperman, again, fantastic setup. Nothing wrong with the car. The car was fantastic. Had a great race. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And like I said, he's from Austin. After that podium in the 13th round, he yelled out, "I got friends here." This one's special. Now, here are the points in the Platinum class. Skier leads at Lazar. Took a couple of back, but with only 40 points left in the championship, he needed to make up more ground than that. There's Benitez. In 5th, by the way, Casey Coleman. He clinched the Platinum Masters category, so a good run for him. Now we take a look at the Gold Cup points. Mosing has it by a ton, but Yano, with that retirement from the damage, lost some ground to Joe Catania, sitting there in 3rd. And for Wayne and David Ducote, if they'd been running the full season, who knows where they might be in this championship. The season finale, there's only 2 rounds left. The 15th and 16th rounds coming up at Porsche's Rennsport Reunion Weekend at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And it's a long tow, and it only happens in a couple of weeks. So a lot of these guys had the opportunity to keep their cars pretty pristine, especially the guys playing for those points championships. Obviously, some others had a much rougher weekend, and the teams will have to be in scramble mode to get the cars fixed and get them to that season finale round. We'll, of course, have that coverage for you, so don't miss that. So as we wrap things up, and congratulations again to Angel Benitez for the win, to Casey Coleman for the Platinum Masters Championship clinch, to Jeff Mosing for a win and a clinch in both Gold and Gold Cup Masters. But the story continues in the battle for the overall championship. Elliott Skier and Jesse Lazar, the 2 young guns, heading to the finale in a couple of weeks to determine who will end up as champion for the 2015 season. Thanks, everybody. For Jeremy Shaw, I'm Greg Creamer. We'll see you next time.